Good evening, everybody. Today, thank you very much, Dr. Rohit Shetty, for giving me this opportunity. I'm going to talk on how MS39 has changed my practice. So, no financial interest, of course. Uh, MS39 is really a smart kid on the block. It thinks like an ophthalmologist and presents the data the way we want. And previously, many machines I used to think that I have to adjust to the technocrats' language and their way of looking things. But MS39 is the other way around. It is helping me immensely in analyzing things. Everything is available under one roof, and most of the times on single screen. There is a new classification of the cornea now, which has started because of this. Dr. Rohit Shetty has always been telling us that you treat epithelium separately than the rest of the cornea, and we used to use it only for few things. But now we realize that how important epithelium is and how many times it can create problems for us. And the word of question, it has been there with me somewhat over 2 months, so I have got still a lot of learning to do. But suffice to say that in June 20 last year, Dr. Rohit Shetty had taken a webinar on this topic. I have seen that webinar fully three times up till now. And my healthcare personnel who took a training for us on this machine upon installation, the training went on for 3 hours. So now what I have started doing is that this map, I started dividing into multiple parts. Number one is this line. Okay, over here you can see all the maps are there, but the most important thing is what is the additional feature is the stromal map. uh, I will come to the difference between stromal and epithelial a little later. Second thing is this these two maps over here. Now, what is the importance about Gaussian curve? The previous speaker already explained, so I'll just harp on the important point. Is that it does not change with so many small parameters which change with time, the pupil size and fixation and so on. So it is a very good thing to compare the progress of keratoconus or any ectasia on these Gaussian curves. Say a patient comes after 6 months, very good to compare on this. Then the last five maps are one, two, these two, and this three, four, five. These are basically changed from normality. Many times you see epithelium, there is a difference of only 3 microns, and you don't know whether this is a deviation. And the moment you see pattern deviation, yes, you know that either the stroma or the uh, epithelium, there is a change. Okay, now once this part is done, I move on to all these pictures, high resolution OCT, all these indices here. Let us not go to the detail, but this red on red becomes very important. If all those points they lie within the red circle, it means that it is the case of keratoconus. Yellow means strong suspicion. Now, many times I want to have a closer look at this, and on previous machines it was not available. And see here, you are able to magnify this picture over here, and because of that, I can take a closer look at the picture. This is a very important feature what this machine gives me. Then enantiomorphism, again, this allows me to compare the two eyes with the difference between them. This has become one of the most favorite screens of many eye surgeons at our institute, because the data was never presented to us this way. Even though we knew the terminology and we used to like see, look at the right eye map, then look at the left eye map, and then compare. Over here, it's ready for you to grab. Similarly, quality of vision, all the things on a single screen. As Dr. Divya has already explained, Zernike, point spread function, quality of vision, contrast, and Zernike in numbers. Now, I have started using this for basically three things. Number one, after topo guided PRK in keratoconus, how much is the improvement in the quality of vision? Similarly, after contour also. Second thing is that dry eye evaluation. Many times the point spread function improves. You can see distinctly after the patient is treated with dry eye for about 2 to 3 months, and third thing is whether this patient is a good candidate for trifocal technology or so on. Then the epithelial Zernike, very important. It has happened to me that the epithelium is causing astigmatism of say 0.75 diopters, and you treat dryness of eyes, and after some time you realize that HOA as well as astigmatism has come down, and the patient becomes a okay candidate for a trifocal IOL. So epithelial Zernike, again, very good feature. Let us look at the in detail at the epithelium, but no, Dr. Gairikund is going to cover. So I'll talk only few points. Number one is that we can make out whether it is a true keratoconus versus epithelial remodeling, because we have a stromal map with us. Similarly, sometimes it's the other way around, epithelium masking for keratoconus. Okay, so stroma is showing elevation, and the anterior surface looks normal. For streamlight and trans-PRK, you have epithelium thickness. In one of the cases of advanced keratoconus, we saw that epithelial thickness was 38 microns. Normally, I would have used 50 microns for PTK, and because of that, I saved 12 precious microns thanks to this machine. Then epithelium heaped up, pericataract workup. It can cause because of dryness. It can induce cylinder. It can induce high order abrasions. So all this is. I have seen some patients of ortho K treatment and corneal warpage with epithelium showing disturbance like a ring. Unfortunately, I do not have a very good classic slide to show, but I think people who are working on this, they will understand what I'm talking. And then bilateral summary, of course, we have discussed. For cataract surgery, I started using MS-39 for various purposes. Tomography, that we like to see the anterior surface of the cornea and the posterior surface of the cornea. Then epithelium and the dryness, of course. Epithelium, I mean the HOA cylinder induced by the epithelium. Then the heaped up epithelium remodeled, and then the dryness. Then various angles, angle alpha, angle kappa, Zernike, I'm discussed already, and the IOL power calculation. Of course, IOL power calculation, I have not used it up till now. Then intracorneal ring segment planning. This is a case where the planning is done. You can see this is pre-operative, and this is the OCT image. You can see the ICRS. Thanks to CSO for giving me this slide. And this is our own patient. This is the pre-op map and the post-op map after ICRS. You can see the cornea getting flattened by almost 9 diopters. ASOCT. One of the beautiful features of this machine is a high quality ASOCT. In fact, I have started relying more on the ASOCT of this machine than on other machines. So this is a case of keratoconus. Then this is a normal LASIK flap. This is a detached DSEK flap. And this is a DALK patient. And no, this is a narrow angle, sorry. And this is the normal LASIK flap. And this we already seen. Beautiful ASML. One of the important features, another good feature of this machine is that it allows you to magnify a certain area and see whether what is the culprit behind the patient's symptoms. Sometimes the Bowman's membrane is irregular, sometimes the epithelium is heaped up. How do you place the corneal scar? In case of punctate epithelial, SPK, superficial punctate keratitis, whether it is a active inflammation or it is a scar, you can easily make out from this high resolution OCT images. I could nowhere up till now I have seen ICL as clearly as I see with MS-39. So, and you can see that this central part is magnified. This is a special facility this machine gives, and you can see that the vault is 385 micron. We were worried for this patient, but 385 is just acceptable vault. But I have not seen ICL so clearly on any other machines. Then another thing where I get into trouble is that I wanted to sometimes edit a pupil or the white to white. White to white, I started editing for ICL calculations. Sometimes that on IOL Master the marks, they are not coinciding with the limbus age. They are either inside or outside, and you wanted to move them over here. That is possible, which has not been possible on IOL Master or Pentacam. Then these are the some unexplored area: glaucoma workup, IOL power calculations, and scleral lens fitting. I have not gone into this, meaning I have gone, but very little, to a very little extent. So let us not talk about it. But all these facilities are there. So this is in addition to normal, refractive workup, pupillography, etc. I wanted to concentrate only on the salient features. Otherwise, 2 hours are not enough for this talk. Thank you very much.